Is China forging ahead therefore with a system that is intent on never being democratic? No one can complain that Xi Jinping shortchanged anyone on the opening day of the 19th Party Congress in Beijing on 18 October. Just shy of 3.5 hours, his 30,000-character oration left few spaces for listeners, inside and outside China, to fill in. It was, in a word he is clearly fond of, comprehensive. It covered culture, morals, environment, economics, and ideology. It talked about reform and the importance of creating a different economic model more focused on services, consumption, and innovation. It talked about the Belt and Road Initiative, and the national mission to be a great, strong country. He had strong words on the military, on Hong Kong and Taiwan. If you wanted an audit of where China now stands in its development in the year 2017, this document covered most of the areas that matter. According to some interpretations, it might count as a manifesto. But a lot of the report simply addressed the question of what has already been achieved, and therefore what can serve as a base for future action. No radical new policies in this context, like ones that campaigning parties in Western systems like to conjure up at similar occasions to capture the attention, and possibly support, of voters in the audience. A party secretary in China speaks with no real competition, and simply as the mouthpiece of consensus. The epic length of Xi's speech alone made it clear there was plenty of consensus, at least on the surface, and it runs in many directions. That much one could tell even without listening to the contents of the speech, but observing its duration. There was however one considerable area which Xi made no substantial comments on. Despite this being the political report, the strange thing about Xi's speech was the absence of addressing directly any questions about political reform. Nothing appeared on any attempt to renew and revitalize village elections. No words addressed the favorite term of yesteryear, inter-party democracy. And unlike Hu Jintao's speech a decade ago in 2007, the main word used most often this year was modernization, not, as back then, democracy.